All right, what if we want to do a little bit more complex? So let's say a customer is again, or an internal employee is again calling the global support desk. In this case, there is no agent available or nobody is able to take his call. We wanted to set up to have an external phone number to ring. And let's say you only want to do that for a specific customer. So let's say you have a top customer calling, there's no agent available, phone number rings. How do we do that? So previously we had the global support desk skill created, and now we're going to make that skill a little bit more advanced. So we would start a little bit differently. So the forward skill is easily defined. So let's say we call this skill global support forward. We forward it not to a SIP number, which we could do, because we could do it to say a federated agent, but let's say we want to forward to a phone number. And I'll take a phone number here. One of my colleagues, hope he answers if he's there. And it's red, because it wants to be a regular SIP address, so it's not just still a valid entry. And I just simply type L. I do a save. So now I've created a forward skill, which I'm going to use if after a certain amount of time, nobody has answers that specific call. All right, so we got the forward skill. So now what we're going to do next is create a countdown skill. So basically telling the system that if a call comes in and it's not being answered in a specific amount of time, flow over to that forward skill, and that forward skill is set up to be a mobile number. All right, so that's what we call a countdown skill. And that countdown skill is now affiliated with the global support. We're going to show it on the wallboard. We want to start it counting after 10 seconds, and after 10 more seconds, we want it to overflow to global support forward. All right, we said I wanted to show on the wallboard. We wanted to basically overflow to a mobile number after 20 seconds, and it basically does so after it tries to hunt existing agents via the regular Skype for Business availability. All right, so we see the global support here again. So, and there's no agent available because my client now said too busy. All right, I'm going to make a phone call again to the global help desk with my mobile phone.
Welcome to the global support desk. This conversation may be recorded for quality and training purposes.
I'm going to punch forward.
You have chosen global support.
What it's now going to do, it's going to try
One
to find an
moment, please.
agent.
Your call will be answered by the next available
You can see
representative.
the agent is not available. If I would
Please
set my
be connected
link
as
client
soon as
available,
possible.
I would get handed the toast just like I saw before. But now we have set it up that after 20 seconds, if nobody
One moment,
answered,
please. Your
after
call.
the initial hunt, it would forward it. And as you can see now, the number is actually being called. And it goes outside, and somebody will hopefully answer. It's going to be my colleague. There you go. He's actually answering. So, hey, Evert, thanks for being part of the demo.
Please rate the quality of your agent between 1 and 5, where 1 is terrible and 5 is excellent.
All right. Evert was a little taken aback, but I think I still give him a 5 out of 5.
Thank you for your feedback. Have a great day.
All right, call finished. So, and of course, the audio that you hear can be customized based on professional studio recordings. It's just that the text-to-speech is always easy to demonstrate. All right, but what happened here? So there was a customer calling on a mobile phone, trying to actually hunt specific agents on the Skype for Business platform that had the appropriate skill set. If nobody was available, as was the case right now, then after a certain amount of time, it overflows to a regular phone number. The interesting thing is that it does not leave the Skype for Business topology, meaning that we actually are able to do end-to-end reporting, which means that even though it seems to leave the environment of your Skype for Business, you could actually hear the call recording. And that's actually the Anywhere365 call recording. Because if we go back now to the reporting, and I've mentioned before the reporting being kind of a critical component of the platform, you can actually see the specific dialogue taking place and how the customer is actually experiencing the flow through the organization. The Dialogue Intelligent platform is started out a couple years ago as with just a couple reports and has now grown into a full-fledged dialogue intelligence platform with a lot of business intelligence that provides actionable information. Any type of information that you may want to look at, so from an agent perspective, how are my agents doing, which skills are actually required, during what time of day, which people actually hang up all the time, how much calls actually get transferred to mobile numbers, which locations are all my callers coming from, in a global setting, which global support desk is seeing increased flux of calls, is that of chat, is that of voice, And the list goes on and on. And I'm just going to show you a very small subset because there's just not sufficient time to really go over all the details. But just as an example, the conversation that I just had a second ago, where a customer called on his mobile phone and eventually ended up with an agent on the other side with the proper skill set, also having a mobile phone. That would, for instance, be under the dialogue overview. And again, all this is customizable. This basically shows a full list of all the dialogues that have taken place. I can actually also make other adjustments here with respect to, I only want to look at inbound calls, only outbound calls, chats only, things like that. Everything is customizable. If management have, for instance, a specific service level that they want to reach and manage towards, you can actually set that as well, and that gets propagated throughout the reporting. All right, so the last call that we just placed here is over here. And again, this is kind of on the micro level, and you can zoom in and out of any screen that the reporting system actually shows. So just to get an example, this last call that we just did was an inbound voice call. Actually didn't get answered, and it got forwarded with a global support forward skill. And you have additional information about the time of day, how long it took to get routed, the initial talk time, all the information that Anywhere365 is able to maintain is being stored and readily made available in an easily to digest format. But that's not it. Like I said, you can zoom in and out. And if I actually zoom into this particular dialogue, I can actually see the customer journey. And we basically recreate what we call a point-in-time snapshot. So at this point in time, when the customer was actually calling, who was actually available? And you can actually see all the details about the flow of the customer flow. So this was actually the number that was calling. In the IVR, global support was selected after 11 seconds. In the 19 seconds, the global support forward kicked in because there was no available agent that on Skype for Business that had the right skill set as in global support. But we had it set up that if it was not answered, it was overflowing to another SIP address, another group, or in this case, a mobile number. That actually got answered because the forward got accepted after 14 seconds. We had a nice conversation where the agent helped me in a really quick time, 23 seconds, after which the agent hung up. After 13 seconds, I gave the agent a quality measurement of 5 out of 5. 3 more seconds later, I hung up, I as in the customer, and the recording got saved. And the recording can actually be accessed over here directly. So that's the highest resolution of a call. And if additional agents would have been available via the Skype for Business platform, those would actually be accessible over here. At this point in time, nobody was available, and as a result, it was overflowing to a mobile number. What else do we have now that we're at the business intelligence component? We got a UCC overview. So for instance, instead of looking at the micro level on all the calls, I want to look at, let's say, the last month's call. How have we done as a total support desk for the last month? And let's say I want to make it a little bit more. So last month, let's make it May. And I can instantly see how many dialogues, because it could also be chat messages, how many of those calls we missed. Didn't do a pretty good job. Of course, it's a demo environment. How many quick drops? So people call and hang up almost instantaneously. The average queue time, 34 seconds. And on average, the talk time was about 5 minutes. And again, I can drill down. I can drill down in all these specific components, and I can actually look at the accepted, number of accepted, number forwarded. I can instantly see an overview of my help desk. There's many, many, many more fields. I will not go into all the details, but for instance, one of the elements that's also proven quite beneficial is this heat map representation, where you can instantly detect bottlenecks in your dialogue organization. So basically, this shows in a nutshell how many calls or how many dialogues were actually coming into the organization, or could also be outbound, depending on the setup. And green is good, red is not so good. And the size is also important. So sizing being the number of dialogues. And I can instantly see that, for instance, on this particular day, there was a lot of activity. Not sure what's going on, but I could zoom in and I could zoom out again. The reds are, of course, interesting because that's something where something occurred that was not answered. And I can actually click on that. Again, zoom in, zoom out, and I immediately get an overview of just the dialogues that contained skills that were chosen but not answered. It means that a customer came in, selected a specific skill set, and it was not answered in the amount of time that we set. So you can quick zoom in, and of course I can also zoom into the customer journey, and I can see if somebody was actually available at that point in time. So things like this allow for a very quick way to drill down into the setup of the global help desk, the support desk, and you can make operational changes to it. So other things, for instance, from an agent perspective, I can look at all my agents, how they're doing, and I can also look at their availability and what they've been working on. So in this case, I have a specific agent here, and I can select any type of day, for instance, and I can look how he's been working within my support desk. So I can see when he's on the phone, I can see how many inbound, outbound calls he's been working in. And again, I can look at all this information together with all the other business intelligence, paint a full picture. And again, you see the top 100 of this particular agent, all the skills that he's been using, and I can quickly drill down for this particular day or any other stretch of period. So these are present states provided by Skype for Business. Of course, you can also set your own reason codes. So customers may have, they say, being busy or being away is not sufficient. We want to have our own reason codes for that. All right, so what we quickly show you is the business intelligence component of Anywhere365, which is being used by almost every customer that we have to quickly enhance the operational dialogue management of their platform and really make big strides into making their operations more efficient.